I'm going to call us to order. If we could all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Sherry Williams, would you please lead?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And Sandy, I'm going to turn your microphone on and then you could do the roll call, please.
Revis,
Here.
Ballich,
Here.
Freeman,
Present.
Hickey,
Here.
Oxley,
Yes.
Winfrey,
Here.
Trinier.
Present.
We have a quorum.
It's getting a bad reflection on that screen. All right. Up next, approval of minutes. Can I get a motion?
Second, Hickey.
Motion Freeman, second Hickey. Roll call, please.
Revis,
Yes.
Ballich,
Yes.
Freeman,
Yes.
Hickey,
Yes.
Oxley,
Yes.
Winfrey,
Yes.
Trinier.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, Sandy. Our first. Okay. Next item up is public comment. If you didn't notice, we did make a change in the agenda so people can comment before we talk about agenda items. Do we have any public comment? Do we have any public comment? Do we have any public comment? And without any public comment, we will move on to old business. Does anybody have anything to bring up under old business? Seeing nothing, I will move on to new business, and we're going to start with item number 1, 25-3038, Access Will County Quarterly Update. And we've got the lovely team of Colin Phillips and Elaine Bottomley. Come on up, Elaine, to give us an update on whatever you want to give us the update on. And if you could press your button. There we
Thanks.
go.
I've been allowed in here 3 times before, so I don't always remember.
Oh, no, you're doing fine, man. You're doing fine. I hope you really are Colin because I haven't seen you enough times to remember for sure if
That's
that's you.
fine. My goal since coming here has always been to remain unknown to members of the board. And so I'm sorry to break that in.
Smirking.
Okay,
Well,
so
welcome.
thank you very much. So a lot of this is going to be rehashing what I discussed at my last quarterly report, just with some updated figures. Again, the name of our program is Access Will County Dial-A-Ride. Our program has grown a bit over the past couple of years. If we don't mind going down to the next slide. And for those who aren't familiar, transportation for our program is provided by PACE using paratransit shuttle buses in partnership with federal funding through the RTA and Age Guide. It's part of what keeps Will County's cost for this program down. And next slide, please. And if anyone's unfamiliar, this is just a quick snapshot of the standard vehicles used in our program. Probably about 90% of our trips are delivered using paratransit vehicles. Obviously, it's very important for our program to maintain accessibility and make accommodations available because our program, like many dial-a-ride services, if you're unfamiliar, is geared towards residents who are seniors or living with disabilities. And those, of course, would include the commonly known ones, including using a wheelchair or walker. And next slide, please. One thing that we've tried to streamline over the past 2 years, or at least, I tried to streamline as quickly as I came on board, is our registration process. I like to boast that if someone contacts me in the morning, by that afternoon, and able to start scheduling rides for the next day. Folks call me from all over Will County. Unfortunately, they also call me from all over Cook County for some reason, which I'm more than happy to direct them to their local service or try to figure out a solution for them. But most of my time when I'm speaking to people on the phone is just explaining what their options are, making sure they're going to feel safe and comfortable using whatever's available to them. And, at times reassuring them that this is a highly regulated program with highly regulated partners in PACE. And so, members are able to call in, complete a registration form over the phone and get them started. I have had cases where someone calls me at, 4:15 right before I'm about to clock out saying, I have to go to the doctor tomorrow and I need to go because I haven't gone in 6 months. There have been cases like that where we have been able to get them scheduled for an appointment the next day.
I do have a question.
Yes.
I used to work at a township and it seemed like it was a fairly lengthy process. And if I remember correctly, and I might not be remembering right, but if you were disabled, you might have to go downtown Chicago and prove that you're disabled and all these kinds of things. Are you telling me that you can avoid all of that? That literally you can set them up over the phone?
Yeah, so for context, actually, I think scrolling down to the next page will help highlight my point here.
Thank you.
There are multiple dial-a-ride services in and around Will County. This map is just a rough estimation of eligibility areas. It does not capture all the systems available. And all these systems have a different procedure in place, whether that's going down to an office to verify in person. For a lot of the other PACE programs, like DuPage Township Dial-a-Ride, Central Will Dial-a-Ride, the previous program, Southwest Will Dial-a-Ride, those often require some form of certification through the RTA in Chicago. And there's different ways to get that, either through a reduced fare card, ride-free permit, or the most lengthy process, ADA paratransit. And that's the one that would involve at least probably a 6-week time period traveling to one of their offices in Chicago to verify that you have a disability and are eligible for the program. And this is one of the components of registration that other programs use to ensure that the appropriate target audience or target population is getting access to the service. When we expanded from Will Ride to Access Will County, and we expanded to Southwest Will County last year, we really try to look at comparable countywide programs in the surrounding areas surrounding Chicago. And we try to, find a good balance between verification and accessibility. And so what we landed on was, we're often working with local organizations, whether it's townships, medical organizations, schools for young adults living with disabilities, that will reach out to me and say, I have a group of people here who need these services, so I can work with them directly to get them registered. And so there are absolutely cases where people call in and they're able to get service the next day. However, other programs have different procedures in place.
Yeah, it is odd. I see you have DuPage and New Lenox and Wheatland actually with strange colors compared to the rest of the map. And I will tell you in DuPage, if you're 69 years old and you've been on disability for over 10 years and you get the disability waiver even on your property tax assessment, you're still required to go downtown Chicago, which is a huge hardship for someone that's disabled.
Absolutely. I would know that firsthand because I'm usually the person signing people up for these other programs a lot of the time.
Yeah. If they are incorporated into Access Will, would that hurdle go away?
Absolutely. Not only would it remove the barrier of transportation of no longer allowing only some township residents to go countywide, it would ensure that no matter what township you live in, you would be able to access countywide services and you would be able to register the same day through me.
Awesome.
But
Can't wait
again,
for you to incorporate the rest of the county.
I don't disagree whatsoever. I'm just trying to paint a picture here because I think a lot of the time when people call me in, they think they're already part of Access Will County. And I try to explain that for context. For years, we were just in Eastern Will County and we've grown a lot over the past 2 years. And we're trying to continue that process. But, a lot of the times people don't really know or care what the name of the program is. They just want to get, the service that they feel entitled to, which is absolutely valid. I would never, disagree with a resident about feeling that way.
I guess since we're in the middle of the presentation, I don't know when the appropriate time would share this would be, but this is something that maybe we should think about long form as a board, but hosting like a special meeting that would be an invite to, and we can extend an invite to Homer, Lockport, Troy, Joliet, Jackson, New Lenox, DuPage, Wheatland to make their shade go red. And we can explain and maybe pitch the program. Since this is something we're moving forward, it doesn't make sense for them to stay, outside of the loop on it. That's just something that I was throwing out there. So
We have to fund it first, and I'm all for funding DuPage Township. As soon as we fund it, they will jump on board. I am absolutely assured of that. Did you have a question, Mr. Balich?
Yeah, what Mark, Commissioner Revis just said. We were in Central, the township I live in, and I would bet the reason why we're not in Access Will County is because of the cost. Because you'd have to take in Joliet, and that's a big area. And then, the thing that concerns me, not with access so much, but Cook County, like when you talk about going to Chicago, is that how Cook County is going to try and make it so that suburbs have to pay for their bad system? You know what I'm talking about? They're trying to make the suburbs pay for their system that they can't pay for anymore because they run it so bad.
Thank you, Member Trenier. Member Balich, I do know what you're talking about. They're completely different and separate things. So because our Access Will County program does drop residents off in Cook County. It doesn't have any correlation to the cost of what's happening in Cook County, the cost of transit. Those are completely separate. So only our residents can ride within Access Will County. We just happen to have spots that residents can be dropped off that are in Cook County.
That's good.
Thank you. That was good. And then the reason that Homer and Joliet and Troy and Jackson and Lockport aren't in Access is because the cost. Am I correct?
No, but I don't
Different-
want to get ahead of it. So I'm going to ask you
Remember
to,
before
I'm
we
going to
were
ask you to
talking-
hold on, and I will be talking about that, probably slide 14.
Oh, okay.
So you guys are jumping ahead to the fun part.
You
Okay.
taught me well.
Why don't you go ahead and go to the next slide? Thank you.
Okay, again, these numbers are just a quick snapshot of how our program has grown over the past 5 years. Obviously, fiscal year 2021, still during lockdowns, public transportation nationwide was down. I will note, as I hope my cute little bar graph demonstrates, that we have exceeded the national standard of recovery post-pandemic for public transportation. Our program has grown significantly. And unfortunately, this one doesn't include September, where we set our new record for transportation. I think we delivered a good amount, over 1,400 rides in 1 month, which might be very standard for countywide programs or, Cook County programs. For us, this is a big deal.
Milestone.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a real milestone, and it's very surprising personally to me that it happened in September and not in like May or June when people normally ride the service more. But our program has continued to grow, and I think the next slide helps reflect the scale of the trend over the past 5 years. So again, you can see in that red line, a lot of lockdowns, limited transportation, up through the green line mostly. That's just 6 or 7 townships. I would consider that standard recovery from post-pandemic. And then once we get into the blue lines, we start seeing the effects of our expansion to additional townships within Will County and the effect of growth and availability. And a lot of the increase in ridership came from folks who just weren't familiar with this program, didn't realize it was available to them. But as we make public press releases about, our program expanding to encapsulate areas that don't have access to public transportation, like the Wilmington area, this is the effect we see. People realize the service is available. They realize they have a need for it. I mean, not that they weren't aware they didn't have a need for transportation, but they realize that something is accessible to them, is affordable to them, and they take advantage of it.
Great.
And I made this chart to reflect our projection for ridership in 2025. And at the end of 2024, I was estimating that our ridership would probably be around 13,000. I'm pleasantly surprised to say that it's probably going to surpass 14,000 this year, which again, I'm more than happy to take all the credit for.
But you don't want us to remember you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Unfortunately, my public office phone number is widely available in Will County and Cook County and DuPage County. So I do take frequent calls about this, but our program does continue to grow based on reliability and based on availability. And also, sorry, next slide, please. Okay, I included these heat maps. This is just from the first 6 months of 2025, and it reflects, I think, the historical trends of our program. Like I've said probably a few times now, historically, we were just in the eastern townships, and you can see a core user base there from years of experience. A lot of folks have medical appointments, right over the border into Park Forest, or at least the areas that are in Cook County, as well as Tinley Park and Orland Park. If you compare this map on 2025 to 2023, you'd see that we've grown a lot on the western side. I think if we take another heat map and another 6 months, we're going to see an increase in ridership in the western side of Will County as we continue to grow and expand. Oh, and so sorry, next slide, please. These are the invoices we have available from PACE. It shows a breakdown of how funding is split between Will County for local match requirements, in addition to RTA and age guide funding. Generally, there's a lot of variables, so it's not a 1-to-1 ratio, but generally speaking, as ridership increases, the cost per ride tends to go down, at least for Will County. Again, that does have fluctuation based on the qualifying funding components for RTA versus age guide trips. which I don't want to put everyone in the room to sleep right away, but generally speaking, as we increase in ridership, we are seeing a reduction in the cost per trip.
Why don't we let him keep
Can I
going?
say a quick question? On that last graph?
Yeah.
You're talking about cost per ride.
Mhm.
That's one way, right? Not two ways.
Oh, I'm so sorry. When I say cost per trip, I'm not referring to the cost of the consumer. I'm referring to the cost to Will County. But yes, that would be the cost per trip one way. Some people use this program once or twice a month. Some people only need a one-way trip to get to another home location. And there are some people who need to go to dialysis 3 times a week, so they're taking 6 trips a week. But again, these are just the cost to the county for the resident themselves. Trips are either going to be $2 or $4 one way.
And the reason I ask that is because if you don't need a wheelchair,
Mhm.
you just need a ride to the doctor,
Mhm.
it may be cheaper to use an Uber.
So when someone brings that up, people who are reaching out to me typically are on, I don't want to speak too broadly, they're often on a fixed income, or they're seniors dealing on Social Security. And what I found is that our program is typically going to be more affordable. Um, to be frank, not to be too blunt about it, but $4 to go from Wilmington to Joliet is generally going to be cheaper than an Uber. And if you're dealing with someone who's in a wheelchair and has to go to the hospital, even if it's just 10 miles, they typically, this is what the residents tell me, is it's typically going to cost them between $100 and $200 for a one-way trip. The paratransit
That would be
transportation.
very inexpensive. $100. If you have to
$100
get a
minimums,
medevac,
yeah.
we're talking $12,000.
I wasn't talking about, people
Hmm.
with wheelchairs. I'm talking about somebody. that-
Steve, can you please just leave it on? Thank you.
I'm talking about people that are okay. They can
Yeah.
walk and they don't have a problem and they just have to go to the doctor. And if they just have to go to the doctor and the doctor is 5-10 miles away, the cost for an Uber is going to be less than, $36.
I'm so sorry. I want to make sure I understand the question here. Do you mean the cost to the resident or the cost to
For
the
the,
county?
I'm talking about, you said the cost per trip is, per one way is $18.
No, it's averaging 16.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. That's the cost that Will
first bar
County.
is the
Yeah.
county.
So I'm talking about
cost.
for the
So.
county, not for the people.
broken
Right,
down.
okay.
For the people, using the,
But we're not having that debate right now. We've already got the program.
yeah, I'm
If
just
people
asking the
want to
question.
take an Uber, they're welcome to take an Uber, but we have a much less
Well, it
expensive
will cost
program.
them more money with an Uber and
It will cost them more money with
a
an
lot
Uber.
more money.
Yep.
But the county, if they used some kind of Uber system, for that type of person, it was like 5 miles away.
Mhm.
It's not going to cost, $18.
But we have this program. We're not debating
I
that
get it.
now.
I get it, but I was
Okay.
just bringing it up. Everything,
Yes,
everything to
understand.
me revolves around money and spending because
Mm-hmm.
that's how come our taxes go up so high.
And if
So-
we vote to cut the program in the budgeting process.
I
then
like the
that would
program.
be-
I'm not against the program.
Okay.
I'm just saying that there's some tweaks that you can do to the program to make it where the county's cost is less. That's all.
So I think I can give a somewhat comprehensive answer to that in terms of the structure of the program as it exists today. As I mentioned at the top, I would estimate between 80 to 90% of the trips are delivered using the PACE contracted paratransit vehicles, which accommodate both people who are in wheelchairs, people with difficulty, ambulatory issues, which does capture a group of seniors who might otherwise be able to walk on their own. And standard procedure at the call center when folks are making trips is to ask, are you okay taking a taxi? Now, in their registration, they say they're using a wheelchair. They shouldn't be asked that because they should know they need a paratransit vehicle. But I take your point that if someone's taking a short trip between, point A to point B and it's 5 miles, if you think it could potentially be less, I will say, because the service is supplemented with contracted taxi providers and, a handful of Uber, which is like a paratransit Uber, every month, that is already reflected in this program. My concern, and I share this with folks who call me freely, like if you find another service that works better for you, if your family feels better using Uber, or if that's more affordable, to be frank, that has never been the feedback I've received from residents. But if that is more affordable or works better for you, by all means, pursue that. If there's another program locally that works better for you, or you want to reach out to senior services or Catholic Charities, I never want to be a barrier to something that works better for their family. In my experience, I've never received a complaint that our program costs more to them than another program. But I take your point that this isn't necessarily about the cost of the consumer, more about the cost to the county. Again, based on what I've seen, I don't believe we would be able to save money implementing further Uber accommodations. But I'm absolutely open to looking at research related to that. I'm just saying, based on my experience, this has been the most effective model we can find.
Thank you. Go ahead, Colin.
Oh, sorry. May I see the next slide, please? Okay, because this is dragging on, I want to quickly just rehash things. In 2023, we had the study about paratransit and transportation in Will County. I think there were 7 key takeaways about ways to improve the existing Will Ride program. As you can see on the screen, those relate to information, service quality, service area, standardizing eligibility, standardizing fares, consolidating programs, and expanding service hours. In the next few slides, I just try to show how we've achieved a lot of those metrics over the past 2 years. So one, through an updated website, increased public events, increased community engagement through the mobility manager, that would be me and other members of the office in Will County. There has been a much greater awareness of Will County. We do have a standardized brochure that we share online. Our website also has an interactive map service that folks can go in to enter their address to see which services are covered in their area. It's not exactly intuitive, so it's usually something I try to work with people to use. Our service quality has gone up as we expanded. That involved PACE acquiring new drivers, new vehicles to make sure that we face a reduction in trip denials. That hasn't been an issue for our program, but I understand that can be a common issue with dial rides, so we've been averting that problem with the increase in service area, increase of service availability. It has improved quality for a lot of our residents. Next slide, please. And these maps just reflect the changes in our program. On the left, that's what our program was for many years, eastern side of Will County with a 10-mile border around those townships. As we transitioned in 2024 to include the southwestern townships, we refocused the service area to prioritize Will County. And so we just have that 1-mile border around Will County reflected in the red line, plus that portion of Southern Cook County, because so many of our Eastern County residents have medical appointments, have dialysis treatment in that section of Southern Cook County. Again, that's never going to be more than just a few miles away from our border. And that way we refocus on Will County, and we have expanded to include anywhere in Will County. That way, if someone who's part of our program needs to go anywhere in Will County, it is covered by this program. Those light blue lines just reflect the current participating townships in this program.
Can we wait till the end?
Yeah.
Let's just keep going.
Okay. Again, standardized fares. $2 for a one-way trip within your township, $4 for a one-way trip outside of the township. Residents can pay with cash. I would say probably 95% of our riders do use cash. That's what they're most familiar with. There's also the Ventra option, which I'm always more than happy to mail information. Just for context, every resident I speak to, I think it's a real achievement of mine that I can make an 85-year-old feel bored on the phone with me because I talk to them so much about what our program can do for them. But basically, it involves registration, answering any questions they have about other programs, making sure they feel safe, comfortable for them or their family member using it. And it usually involves mailing out a brochure and mailing out information about Ventra. Ventra just allows folks to put money on a card or their phone app so they can just automatically deduct the cost of a trip. It's very convenient for the most part. I think most of our users are people who are coming from Cook County are already familiar with it, but I do think it's a great service in addition to have to, cash payments. Phase 1 of our expansion is going to be consolidation. We've continued that this year. In May of this year, we expanded and incorporated Southwest Will Dial Ride, which included Shannon and Manhattan. They face the same issues of registration delays of going to Chicago that other programs experienced. We also expanded to Plainfield Township, where Plainfield Township is able to maintain their own township-based program, but now the residents also have access to the countywide program. If a township chooses to continue to have their own township-based program, that's fantastic. It gives more options to people, but it's not funded by Will County. And phase 2 is something that hopefully we can work on in a few years here, where we expand service hours. I think it would be a real benefit to at some point in the future, not something I'm pushing for right now, would be including evening and weekend hours.
I'm going to let them go ahead and finish and then we'll take questions. Mr. Balich, we're gonna let him finish.
If they're stuck at the doctor past the.
They don't listen to you either. They're still.
It's,
Colin, could you just continue with the presentation?
no, I
please?
think that about sums up my end, but in general, I would say the number of people call is usually my number. Whether or not I'm the person who can help them, I'm usually the person people contact. So it's my number. It's on, I believe it's on here. So it's in the report. It's also online, but generally people contact me and I try to figure out, sometimes in desperation at the last second, if they're already somewhere, what service could possibly help them.
Is that the end of your?
Just go.
That's what I thought. Yeah, let me turn yours on. Go ahead, Elaine.
Thank you. So I know we were talking a little bit earlier about expansion in the future. So here you will see future expansion 2026 and beyond, and you'll notice that every township is outlined. We've been presenting to you all about Access Will County, about dial-a-ride transportation for a couple of years now, and we've heard the desires to expand and make sure that there's coverage to make sure that residents can utilize this program. We have confirmed with Wheatland Township that they're going to become a part of our program. We have confirmed with DuPage Township that they're going to dissolve their existing program and become a part of our program. New Lenox Township has not had a dial-a-ride system through PACE, so we are expanding to New Lenox Township for 2026. Those are the 3 townships that the county has budgeted for, that is in your draft budget that you were given, that will allow us to pay for service in Wheatland, DuPage, and New Lenox Township for 2026. So the numbers that you see in your budget that you were given cover that. Central Will County, that is Lockport Township, Homer Township, Troy Township, Joliet Township, and Jackson Township. Those townships alone are the exact same ridership, the exact same cost of our current existing program. Taking all of those in 1 year is not really fiscally responsible because we would effectively double the cost of our program overnight. So we've started having conversations. We've been having conversations with Central Will Dial-a-Ride for the last 7-8 months. We've worked out a tentative agreement. We're working on finalizing that right now. That will ultimately come forward to this board for approval. That says Central will go ahead, they'll hand over their subsidies. They'll hand over some of their grant funding that they currently receive, and Will County will manage Central Will Dial-a-Ride, and it will become part of Access Will County. We have a funding breakdown proposal that phases in the total cost of Central Will into Will County over 5 years. My hope is that we reach consensus with our Central Will Dial-a-Ride partners within the next couple of weeks, and that this is an IGA that will come forward to this board for approval next month or December at the latest. So come 2026, our ultimate goal is that we will have complete county-wide Access Will County. So that means every single resident within Will County will have the same access to transportation. It'll all have the same eligibility. It'll all have the same cost. As Colin mentioned previously, some of our townships are deciding to continue to operate their own service, and that's fantastic, right? The more options for mobility we have for residents, the better. So that is where we are at. Come December, as you all do every single year, you will vote on and approve our IGA with PACE that outlines, hey, PACE, we operate the system, Will County, you pay for it. So the 2026 IGA will showcase that we are providing rides for all residents of Will County, and will really be reflective of a comprehensive countywide dial-a-ride system.
Okay, I think now we might be ready for questions. Member Revis, you had a question earlier?
I did. Can we just go back one slide, or that should do the trick? Obviously that red boundary, that includes Cook County. are there a lot of Cook County residents that ride into Will County?
Oh, sorry, Colin. You should leave yourself on at all times. Uh-oh. Try it again. Let's see. There we go.
So trying to break county board equipment. No, so this program is only available to residents in Will County. Caveat, it's also only available to residents who are age 16 over or living with a disability. It's not open to the general public. This is a paratransit service, but it's not available to Cook County residents, which I think is some of the confusion why some Cook County folks get referred to me. They see that our service area goes into Cook County. It's still not available to them. Our service area is bigger than our eligibility area because we want to make sure Will County residents can get to the
Sure.
doctor's office or Jewel Osco, just 1 mile past the.
So I think when you said most of our rides are Cook County, it means going into Cook
Yes,
County.
I'm so sorry
from-
for not
No,
clear.
no problem.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's clear now. So that's good. I was just going to say, if there were Cook County residents riding into Will County, we might want to pursue an intergovernmental agreement with Cook County government to where they're bought into our program too. And further, if they're not, Cook County residents aren't using the program, maybe there is still room for an intergovernmental agreement with Cook County to where they can help offset some of these costs since there might be a need for it. Just a thought. I don't know, but something for you guys to pursue. And I appreciate your work, Colin. You seem like you're really, in the weeds on this and you're doing a good job. So
Oh, thank you.
Elaine, you too.
Colin
Member
does all the
Oxley,
hard work.
You had a
so.
question?
Yes, when we absorb let's say Lockport Township,
Mhm.
I believe you said there's a 5-year program where, do they pay for use the money that they're using already to contribute to Will County? And
Yeah.
that's a 5-year phase out?
Yeah, so the initial deal that we've worked out is year one, Central Will Dial-A-Ride is going to pay 100% of the cost. So in 2026, Central will pay for all of their costs for their residents to ride Access Will County. We will just manage it. Year two, Central will pay for 80% of the cost and Will County will pick up 20% of the cost. Year three, it's 60-40.
Okay, so
And it
it's a
just-
graduated scale.
It's a graduate scale down to 5 years out where the county would assume full financial responsibility.
So in the meantime, the township will just pay yearly graduated scale down. the
Correct.
System. Okay, thank you.
Member Hickey?
Hi. Okay, so with Wheatland operating its own program, they're going to stay in Ride DuPage, is my understanding. And that way, the geofence will still be within the Ride DuPage area for people that are going outside of Will County. But then any rides that happen within Wheatland Township or within Will County that begin and terminate within those boundaries are going to be taken over. You guys, that's amazing. I cannot thank you enough. That's huge. And just being a bigger provider with Pace, I think allows them a lot of more training time with their dispatch, which is so helpful to folks who are looking to get back and forth from these doctor's appointments and stuff. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Member Freeman?
Thank you. So I have been at a couple events where we've handed out the Access Will County. It's helping spread the news kind of thing. The question is do they need, how far in advance do they need to register?
So trips can be scheduled 1 to 7 days in advance. So for someone's calling today, they could get a trip for as early as tomorrow, as late as next Tuesday. In terms of registration, typically just the day beforehand. There might be some variables if I'm working with the township or a health organization that sends in a registration form and the date of birth or spelling or something is off, then it might add an extra day. But typically, as long as someone's not reaching out to me at like 4 p.m., we can normally get them registered that day, or I usually tell them first thing in the tomorrow morning. But generally speaking, same day registration.
That was my biggest one was they were asking. So thank you.
Oh, of course.
Okay. Well, thank you both very much. If there are no further questions, I really appreciate Elaine explaining the 5-year plan, because that part, when you first announced it, I was a little lost, but now I understand how you're going to do that. So I don't have any further questions. So I think we're ready for, what, do you need a vote on this? No, this was just an informational. Okay, well, we're ready for our next item on the agenda. Number two, 25-3011, confirming award of contract to PT Farrow Construction for $10 million led on September 17th. Bell Road, County Highway 16 from 151st Street to Martindale Lane, County Board District 4. May I have a motion? Motion Freeman, second Winfrey. Do we have a previous roll? Previous ballot? Second Oxley. All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. Next, item number three, 25-30, authorizing approval of the establishment of the altered speed zone 702 along 78th Avenue in Frankfort Township, County Board District 3. May I have a motion? Moved Winfrey. Second Hickey. Previous ballot, second Oxley. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number four, 25-30. Oh, thought I was reading the same thing twice. Authorizing approval of established altered speed zone 703 along Ballou Road, Wesley Township, County Board District 1.
So moved.
Motion Oxley, second Freeman, previous Winfrey, second Ballich. All those in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. Number five, 25-30, authorizing approval of the established altered speed zone 704 along Lakewood Drive, Wesley Township, County Board District 1. Motion Freeman, second Hickey, previous Ballich, second Oxley. All those in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. Any other new business? State's attorney discussion. Now, I had a question into Kevin. He said he had an answer, but I still haven't received it. So if you could touch base with him. Thank you. And now for the Director of Transportation discussion. Welcome, Jeff. Good morning. Oh, yes.
Because my brain is foggy. Since we passed all those unanimously, they'll be in the consent agenda, correct?
Yes, they should all be in the consent agenda.
Thank you for that clarification.
Yep, no worries. It's Monday. Or no, it's Tuesday. Yes.
If you want to go straight to Friday, I think we won't oppose that.
Go ahead, Jeff, take it away.
Sure. Good morning. Attached is your, for informational purposes, IDOT announced their multi-year plan last week. Typically in the June, July timeframe, but this is where it is, the timeframe. I attended the statewide county engineer conference Thursday and Friday. The Secretary of Transportation was there, presented highlights on this plan. And she also announced that the $400 million in grants were awarded. They put out a grant application for agencies for $400 million. We applied and we did get $750,000 for the Weber Road expansion. So we should expect those letters, she said, later in the month.
Can you elaborate on the Weber Road?
Yes,
area?
the Weber Road is airport to 135th Street. We're currently designing that. So we applied for federal dollars for that. So we did get, granted, it's only 750 is a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not a lot.
Not very much.
Huge for that project, but it is, every little bit will help.
Mhm.
So we did get that. And then she elaborated more on this. So this is more just for information for you. So it's like a one-stop shop. The links are there to get to their multi-year plan. We provided some additional attachments that kind of condense it down from 40-some pages to like 8, so you can find them a little quicker. And then there's also some links there as to some of the other projects that are going on in and around Illinois. There's a fact sheet also attached. It gives a summary of some of the Will County projects, which is actually a lot of those links you saw there, but they're related to IDOT is, of course, very heavy on I-55, I-80, of course, we're all very familiar with. They quote I-57 money slated there, US 52, and then Illinois 53 and 52 is where a lot of the money is focused for IDOT's system. But they still have 40-some pages of projects. So there's a lot out there. If you have questions, I can try and find answers if you want to give them me at a later time, but I probably won't know right off the top of my head anything in particular, but it's there for your use.
I do have one question in my district from our 2050 plan.
Mhm.
It was about putting that turn lane on Weber Road between, I believe it was 115th and Lily Cash.
Correct.
If they do that, will they put up a sound wall? Because those residents along there do want a sound wall, especially the ones at the corner of 115th and Weber.
If there was a roadway expansion, we would probably have to consider that.
Is
So
a turn lane considered an expansion?
that is possible if it's a long stretch. We have to look in that, but I don't anticipate us moving on that right
No,
away.
I know it's the 2050 plan.
Yeah.
Lord knows when you're going to get to it, but it would be helpful to know if that would necessitate a sound wall. They were a little disappointed when the sound wall stopped on the south side at 115th. They wanted it on the north side, and because those cars come pretty fast and they'll have privacy fences, but that doesn't really help.
Sure.
It doesn't make them feel secure. Let me
Sure.
just say that.
Yep.
So if you could let me know about that,
Sure.
I would appreciate it. Does anybody, oh, Member Freeman.
I'm curious, Mr. Ronaldson, if, with the cuts, if any of these numbers are gonna be altered? Are they like set? I can't
We
imagine they're
got
set in
these-
stone till 2031.
We got a circular letter from, again, the secretary a week or so ago that the federal dollars should not be impacted.
Really? Wow.
So
I.
they're confident, they're confident that program remains intact.
So you're not worried about any trimming down on road projects? Thank you.
Because there've been.
Not on our level anyways, but according to them, meaning IDOT, they don't see that either.
Okay. No, I think he's done. So go ahead.
Thank you. I wanted to, it's my gratitude day. Thank you to Mr. Ronaldson for responding so quickly to one of my constituents.
I thought it was Taco Tuesday.
I know, exactly. But I met her and she was very impressed that you were able to answer so quickly. And she shared that the pothole that she contacted you about, which was not under the county's purview, was filled in the next day. And so she would like to know if there's some sort of like road construction bat signal that you put out or how that worked. Because she's like, miraculously, it was done the next day.
Cannot divulge that information. so-
Okay, all right. Trade secrets. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Member Whitfree.
Thank you. I was just checking on Route 53 and it's probably on actually the state piece and it's the walk bike path that runs from River Road up to Gardner. Is that on the newest plan?
That is
Well,
the, in that
research
fact
on
sheet
this,
that
that
they call out 52 and 53, that is the corridor they're talking about, that 49 million, I believe, somewhere in that area.
Okay.
That does include that bike path.
Okay. just
I'm
make
aware
sure
that
it's still
they have,
there.
yes, they've gone out for, or at least posted for a phase 2 design contract recently, or will be in the very near future. So it is still moving forward.
Okay.
Construction, can't say, but
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited to see 126 interchange on there. They've been talking about that one for 20 years, and of course, the cost is now 20 times higher. But
costs have
better
gone
late
up
than
significantly. I know last month was talked about costs going up, and I may have said it just too much, but it has significantly increased every single year.
quite a bit. Any other questions from any other board members? Nope. So seeing none, I know that was informational. Do you have some other things for us? The
That is it.
construction status and maintenance status, phase 2? Does anybody have any questions on any of those? Okay. Then do any committee members have a report? Well, I know Ms. Hickey just gave us one on a pothole. Thank you very much. And I was bemoaning Weber Road going north, I guess the Bolingbrook / Naperville owned section. And sure enough, they're ripping it up. They're repaving it. It looks pretty. They have their first layer of asphalt down. So they did get to it. They're just, a little slower than the rest of us, which was fine because I'm sure that saves some money for some other project somewhere. Member Oxley.
Jeff, what is the status of the Caton Farm Road Bridge over connecting Crest Hill to Lockport?
I would say their status is there is no status.
Yes.
What can we do to get something moving on that?
Well, we completed the Pell study, which means we did the phase 1 up to a point, and then because there was no interest from the adjoining communities to pursue it, to participate in funding it, we went through the process of converting it to a Pell study so that everything could then be kind of like frozen in time. All the data we acquired could be like frozen in time. And then at some point in the future, if communities wanted to pursue it It would have to be the whole corridor. You can't do it in pieces. That was the big sticking point.
Jeff,
Um,
you would want to explain a little bit more in detail about other communities' participation, what that really means?
Sure. it's-
Because I don't think everybody always fully grasps that. I know I didn't when you first mentioned it.
Yeah, the other communities, meaning that the corridor goes through, of which we have very little county highway. We were pretty much intersecting the whole corridor, the Lockport, Crest Hill. I don't know if it went through Homer Glen. I don't believe it did, but there's some townships in there. Those in Joliet, those townships and communities would have to participate because the road goes through their jurisdiction.
Give money, lots
Yeah.
of money.
Yes.
Can you,
Lots
do
of
you
money.
remember the full figure for the connections? Because you told me it was like $600 million or something
It was
crazy.
over 600 million. I mean, the bridge itself was 250, but it was over 600 million.
Did they ever consider just doing the bridge and not continuing through the Fairmont Township?
That was
Lockwood Township?
that was asked, but you can't, the federal guidelines don't allow that. You have to consider the ancillary impacts. So you have to do the whole corridor. You can't just pick the bridge, plop it in there, and then leave that traffic to go on unimproved roads. So you have to improve the
Wait,
entire
oh.
roadway.
Okay, my point is, we have Route 53 on the west and 171 on the east. And in, I believe, 2 years, they're gonna totally reconstruct the bridge in Lockport on 59th Street. So that's gonna be shut down. And I know we can't build a bridge in 2 years, but
No.
I think somebody needs to start looking into this. And what would the starting point be to push it and get people moving on it?
Those communities would have to commit to future funding. And that's been the sticking point.
Well, and I understand they don't want to go to, wait. I'm told they don't want to run it through Fairmont because it's going to divide it in the school district and the kids and all that, the big mess there. I mean, land acquisition and stuff. I didn't know if we could go from Route 53 to 171 and stop it there and not continue.
Right. That was asked of the federal agency partners, and you cannot do that.
Thank you.
Member Oxley, just
Yes.
my opinion, when they see the pain that they're going to be suffering 2 years from now, that's going to go on for probably 2 years. I think that might get some of those communities to figure out they could find the money some way, somehow. But
Well, and I totally agree with that, but I mean, and last night, for example, from 171 to 53 was 17 minutes at 5 o'clock
Mhm.
to get over the bridge.
Wait
and
till
if-
it's 35 minutes.
Well, of course, there's construction on 53 right now, but part of that is human error of driving too, with
Mhm.
sitting there on their phone and 20 car spaces between cars moving and stuff like that. But it's like, when are they gonna do something here?
Well, it's like Mr. Ronaldson said,
When
until
they
those
commit doing something.
communities commit. And I think when they go through the pain of that bridge being redone, that may get them to find.
Didn't do anything 10 years ago, so who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
It's disappointing.
Yeah.
They're worried about, but they're not doing nothing.
Right. Right.
Thank you.
Yep. Anything else? Any other committee members got concerns about anything? Go ahead, Mr. Revis.
I just wanted to make sure everybody in the room knew about October 11th is the Men Who Cook annual fundraiser. It's a big deal. Saturday, October 11th, 6 to 9 at the JJC Wittendorf Center. That's right across from the racetrack. You should come out. It'd be a great date night for you and your spouse. We'd love to have you. Thank you.
I don't have any announcements or reports. Do we have a need for executive session? I'll take a motion to adjourn and look at us 10 minutes early. Thank you. All those in favor?